Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm using the just regular webcam today, but boy, my hair seems like freaking fluorescent. And yeah, this will probably be relatively quick, but we do have to do the ballots because they had come in and, you know, that's what you do. But how are you doing? Remember, please provide comments to keep me company, because these shows are always participatory, and I hate just, my mic's probably not in a good spot. I hate just listening to myself. And hello, JJ, how are you doing? Let's see, I'm even forgetting everything I needed to do today. But yes, along the bottom is all of my shameless grifting. You can support this channel by becoming a patron. I haven't really been talking about that very much this month, so probably not going to hit an October goal. But if you'd like to try to help me hit the October goal, there you go. And I know there are some conventions coming up. In 2 weeks, I will be in Vermont on Saturday. So the first Saturday in November, the first Saturday in November, I will be in Vermont. I am their keynote speaker. And then the following day, I will be in Syracuse for the Empire State Freedom Summit, and will be their lunchtime speaker. And a friend of mine sent over some beautiful photographs of some of my merch, the Mud Decorum t-shirts. That will be the Empire State wear. So I'll definitely be bringing my my Mud Decorum shirt as well. So maybe we'll start to see a bunch of those. That would be fantastic. Quick update as to what's going on with the JC appeal, because I know I haven't really been talking about that much. And to be honest with you, it's wearing me down. I've said that before, but each day it's just wearing me down more and more. So after, 3 aborted tries? 3, I think we're on the 4th try, I'm not sure. Stephen Nikela is trying the compromise settlement motions once again. They are fully sponsored. We are waiting for Mr. Hagan to start the ballots unless they get ruled out of order yet again. The date that the JC has given for a settlement to be reached, otherwise they will be, and the way it was worded was releasing their opinion. And just the way it was worded, I could be reading too much into it. We're all sitting here like reading tea leaves or pig entrails in every single email that comes out. But the way it seemed to me is I think they've already made their decision and they're just holding it in abeyance until they see whether or not we can reach a resolution. So that's where we're at. I think that's really all I have to say about that. And hello, everyone. I said JJ, Steven, Tyler, and Dave. Thank you. But today, I went out to the mailbox and got the most pleasant letter. And it makes me smile in many ways because, A, that's just so sweet that somebody took the time to actually mail me something, but also because of the accusations against me in the bill of particulars about how I'm just driving people from the party and I'm such a detriment to the party. And it just makes me feel sorry for their echo chamber. But got a beautiful letter today with a gift in it, so I would like to read it, and I will email the person personally to thank them as well because they asked me to. I'm not. This is a regular listener, so I will say the first name and not the last name. You all will recognize this person. It is Julian, and Julian's not in chat tonight, but I would like to read the letter aloud and then show you the gift. But for people who don't already know Julian, I'm going to keep the last name private, and I will be emailing him as well. It says, hello, Karen Ann. It's Julian, and he gives his last name. I wanted to thank you for your bravery and courage while you fight your way through this dark time. You have been a huge inspiration to me since I became a hardcore libertarian in 2020. But I thought I was just driving people away, Julian. You're not fitting the narrative. I became a libertarian in 2019 after I felt like I didn't want to be a Democrat like my family and friends. I knew I certainly wasn't a Republican either. Similar to my sexuality, I had no idea what I was. I was a terrible statist. That's a good thing. Be a terrible statist. Oh, no, actually, he said, no, actually, I read that wrong. He was a terrible statist. Not that he was terrible at being statist. He was good at being statist. No, boo, hiss, but now you're a libertarian, so that's wonderful. I always worshiped the government, as do most people, and don't realize they're actually doing that, and supported everything it did. Until one day I found the Libertarian Party while searching on Google American political parties. Still being a statist, I started calling myself a libertarian until I decided to look into it. And, all caps, everything made sense. The minute I turned 16, I pre-registered to vote. And as of April 2021, I've been a registered libertarian. I even convinced, educated 2 of my closest friends to register as libertarians. Good work. We need many, many more young, enthusiastic libertarians. In the 2020 election, I was so excited to support and donate to Joe Jorgensen. I lost many friends because of my political views, and that's just too bad. Things didn't used to be that way, and hopefully they'll get away from being that way. But it's people like you who keep me from going back to my old ways. I'm even at the point where I consider myself considering to run for Los Angeles mayor. Go for it. I'm running for town council next year. So as a partial birthday and thank you gift, I sent you an Angela for Chair button that I personally designed. I won't even start with Angela because she is also a huge inspiration to me. I honestly wouldn't be an anarchist if it wasn't for you, so thank you so much. I just love making new anarchists. Sincerely, Julian. And here is the wonderful button that he had. It's hard to, the lighting in here. So with that yellow, but I will add this to my button collection proudly. I will wear it in Reno And I'm going to wear it whether or not I get my position back. Before, I never endorsed people, but this year I am, and obviously I'm endorsing Angela, so I will be wearing this proudly. And you did a good job at making this. I have a button maker here at home. I don't know what kind you have. I have one of those old Pressomatic. What's this Pressomatic thing called? Buttonomatic? I don't know. It's an old steel one. I should bring it here once. And it's Wayne put a big rubber handle on it for me because it was when you make hundreds of buttons, you kill yourself. So he put a bike handle on it for me. I should go grab it, shouldn't I? But I'm not going to. It's way over there. But I'll bring it to another show. And I just love the ka-chunk, ka-chunk. To me, it is so cathartic. I don't know why. I love to make buttons, and I'm going to start making some of my own, but I'm looking at the edges. Like, I'm very critical because sometimes my buttons, and you did a great job on this button, a really good job. I don't have one of these. I don't know what size this is. I think this is a 3-inch button. I got the 2 1/4 inch Badge-O-Matic. That's what I have. The old one though. I'd be very curious what button maker you used for this. But good job, and thank you, Julianne. This really touched my heart today. When I get things like this, it really does mean a lot to me because I know I'm not just then talking into the ether, right? And that it's actually doing some good. Because I don't aggressively try to make libertarians. I don't think you have to. I think you just have to say the message and people hear it, you know? I got still my little bit of did I say Mountain Dew? McDonald's Diet Coke. I love fountain Diet Coke. I don't know why it tastes different. But thank you, Julianne, and thank you, Tyler, also. Okay, so what we got today, I already opened it, but we got the ballots. Now, Colorado has had mail-in ballots forever, so like here it was never a big deal, that whole mail-in thing, and hello, Fidalgo. So I already took everything out of the envelope. So, but what's funny is what they send you, they send you the instructions, but I like how they send you the, and we'll talk about the Beagle story at the end, Tyler, the little I voted sticker so that you don't miss out on having your little sticker. That old, I still have it and I'll bring it back every once in a while. That angel I used to have in the background with the 2 lamps has the old I voted button sticker on it. And I think I have one on the wall here too, behind here. Yeah. Okay, let's take this down a second. There's my old I voted one. We'll add this to that collection right there. Now let me put this back up. But I keep my collection of I voted stickers in here. All right. Oh God, I killed my knee. I told you guys I'm doing a seasonal delivery job, and I think I messed my knee up. Like, I think I messed it up bad, and I hope that doesn't prevent me from continuing this job. I was supposed to work today, but apparently they had a light delivery day, so they sent out a text saying there's a voluntary time off opportunity, and I jumped right in. So I ended up getting a day off because I was in a lot of pain. But I think like maybe a ligament is out. It hurts badly, but we'll see. My next day is Thursday, so hopefully I'll feel better to work that day. And Julianne, you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the show because I went over your letter, and thank you for the button. Gave you a lot of compliments on your button craftsmanship as a fellow button craftsman myself. So you're going to have to go see the beginning of this show. Move all that stuff aside here. Now we're going to do the ballot. So we've got our thing that we return it with. Wayne wrote me down some recommendations for school board. And we went over the instructions, got our I voted sticker. All right. The ballot this year, there's no... Except for school board, there's no offices. JJ, I've tried acupuncture before for my back pain, and it did work. I think I actually, though, have a ligament out in my knee. I'm not sure. And funny, Wayne said to me before, I got this shirt at Goodwill. He hasn't seen it in a while. It's a joke shirt. It says, activities for children. Let's summon demons. And he was like, where the heck did you get this shirt? I'm like, Goodwill. Why not? I've had it forever. All right. So what we have is a lot of ballot measures. And so now I don't need to email you, Julian. You know it arrived. I just got it today, and it really, really made me smile. You don't know. I've had a rough weekend. Like Mike will tell you, we were supposed to do a Cult of R.O.N.R. marathon this weekend. And I just told Mike I couldn't. And he said, can I come over for a moment? Because he had some gifts, and he came over. And poor Mike, I just like cried for like 20 minutes on him. Like, he hugged me, and then I just started crying, and I think I soaked his shirt. The stress had just gotten to me, you know? And then I went to bed, and then I was better. But that's why there was nothing on Sunday. This stress is just, woof, it gets intense, and then I get over it, you know? But I do have my little mini autistic breakdowns. It's just part of the condition. All right, so we have our ballot. And so on the back, it's the town of Castle Rock stuff. And then on the front is the statewide stuff. Now, the school board, Douglas County School Board, actually, so this won't be for everybody. So this is very Colorado specific, but some of the analysis I'll be doing on the ballot measures may help you guys. And you guys have been following the Castle Rock saga of measures 2A, B, C, and D that Wayne and I went and testified against, was it 2 or 3 times, because the Castle Rock Town Council pushed it through. And at first they're going, oh, well, we're just letting the voters decide. And then at the end, they passed a resolution asking the voters to pass them. So they weren't merely just letting the voters decide. They became full-blown advocates for 4 new tax increases. And one of them being for parks. So you want to know what? It means the Castle Rock Town Council believes, because I'm going to take it to its logical conclusion, because every law is enforced at the point of a gun, ultimately, if you keep refusing. So all of those bastards, or as I like to say, that used to upset the LNC so much, all of those fuckers on the Castle Rock Town Council, because they all voted for it at the end, think it's okay to kill people for parks. Every single one of them. That's not a proper function of government. Some of the tax proposals perhaps are, because some are for fire and police. As an anarchist, I think that should be privatized to begin with, but that, you know, in a minarchist world, I can get that. But parks, really, all of them need to go. All of them need to go. You steal from people for parks, you got to go. And that's why I'm running. One of the reasons I'm running. But that gave me an extra motivation for why I'm running. I was going to be doing a Castle Rock RCV petition. We still might be. RCV Colorado got so caught up in the petitioning and the ballot measure that's on the ballot for November for Broomfield that they got behind in helping with Castle Rock. I don't think we have time. I think they blew the deadlines. The deadlines haven't been blown. I don't think we have enough time to do the work to meet the deadlines. I'm sorry. Like, if Linda, Emma are watching this, I'm about to give up. I'm just about to give up on it. We can do it next year. You know what happens? We can do it next year. I really wanted to do it this year, but I'm already running for town council, so I got plenty to do. There's also supposed to be a big petitioning measure to make petitioning easier. We're doing a petition measure to make petitioning easier. So I've got plenty to do, but it is disappointing. But let's continue here. So we got the Douglas County School Board. It always just amazes me that school board elections are like so contentious and like everyone's involved in them, whether you have kids or not, because they steal from me. All you people here in Douglas, thank you very much. That's sarcastic, for stealing from my paycheck to educate your kids. I never had children myself. Educate and pay for your own damn kids' education. Sorry, I'm always been very ass-mad about that, very resentful about that. I just don't get that. Okay, let's continue though. And yes, so school board, I'm just going to go, Wayne's always really into it. I'm not. There's someone, though, on the ballot that used to be a Libertarian, Justin Matthew. He's now a Democrat, like a Libertarian Democrat, but like he hasn't been a particularly nice person, and I don't know. He's not a Libertarian right now. He left for the Democrats, so I think I'm going to vote for the one that Wayne thinks is going to win to beat the terrible school board we have now. Though I'm torn because Justin was a Libertarian. But he's been a real douchebag to me, so. All right, so first one. So here are the names that Wayne recommended. So in District B, between Mike Peterson and Julie, just spelled Juli. That's very unusual. But between Mike and Julie, he recommended Mike. So I am going to mark off Mike. Now, just to give a little history here, and I'm going to go to chat here in a moment. What we're doing here with me marking my ballot and show you, this used to be illegal in Colorado. And I am one reason it's not illegal. Some of you do not know this, but in 2016, I sued the Secretary of State of Colorado and won for Coloradans, along with some other plaintiffs, the right to take ballot selfies, which includes filming yourself filling out your ballot. You were not allowed to do this before. I got very incensed about that, and I sued their ass, and I won. You can do that. And we wouldn't have been able to sue if the Denver DA kept his mouth shut. But he went on Facebook reminding everyone that it was illegal, so that was considered by the court to be a threat of prosecution. And I had said, I want to go fill out my ballot to show on the Capitol steps that I was going to be voting for Gary Johnson, and I risked being arrested. And that led to the lawsuits, which we won. And the way the court described it was that even though this law hadn't been enforced in 100 years, if somebody was a political dissident, such as myself, because that's the way I was described in there as, of a minority political dissident voice, that it acted like the sword of Damocles over the heads of people like me. And it is exactly correct. But I'm also to tell you something funny. So I had a very Democrat attorney who was representing me, did a lot of ACLU cases, and he was telling me the reason, the state alleged justification for not allowing you to do this was because it was a way to encourage people selling their ballots, because if you could take a picture of it, you could prove you voted a certain way. And I said to him, well, I think it should be okay to sell your vote, so I really don't give a shit. And he's like, please don't say that in court. Please don't say you think it's okay to sell your vote. I'm like, oh, I'll shut up about that. But I told you I'm a Libertarian. So, but what we did do is I took my ballot and photoshopped it 4 different ways to show that a photograph doesn't help enhance selling your vote, because you could Photoshop it and you could get 4 different payments for your vote if all you needed was a photograph. And photocopy machines would have done the same thing. So it was ridiculous on the point of the state. But some of my very rudimentary Photoshop skills were in evidence in that court. Okay, so first one was Mike Peterson, and let's go to some of the comments. It says, trust Republicans on school boards over Democrats. Most likely I agree with you, though I'd prefer Libertarians. I always vote no on all bonds. And Dave says, I don't have a problem paying for kids' education. I do have a problem indoctrinating kids. I have no problem with you paying for kids' education either. I have a problem with being forced to do it myself. The other option is to get charged, so you could have standing. I really did not want to get charged because it would have risked my paralegal certification, and because you're not supposed to be like arrested and crap. Now it was a misdemeanor, so it probably wasn't a felony, but I just didn't want to at that time. It could have, because you have it's kind of like almost all professional associations. You have to be like a person of good character and all of that crap. Misdemeanor, I don't think counts. A felony would have counted. So let's continue. And yeah, Dave, I don't have a problem with selling votes. I guess they figured that it would just be too much of a temptation to those who are poor to sell votes. And yes, JJ, I do have a phobia about showering with other women. I have a phobia with showering with anybody. But Adam Kokesh told me how to get out of it. You just refuse to take the TB test. He told me if you refuse to take the TB test when you get arrested, they will put you in solitary for the whole time, and you don't ever have to interact with anybody else. And that's perfect for me. So I don't really have the fear now of getting arrested so much as I used to, because it was the showering thing. That was a big thing to me. Like, I refused to do it in school. I took summer school for PE because I was so bad about that. I think that is just so mentally abusive to kids to make them, that's just horrible to me. So, yeah. And 1 year I got an F in PE because I refused. So then the other years I just took it in summer school. But yeah, that's how bad I am. But Adam Kokesh freed me from that. All right, so school board, District D. Wayne said between Ruby Martinez, Justin Matthew, who used to be the Libertarian, but again has been a douche to me, and Becky Myers, to go for Becky Myers. I was torn. I was going to vote for Justin because he still has very, very Libertarian views. But, you know, he left the party. I don't know why. I guess he thought he was going to be more electable. I wish him all the best, but you know, when you apologize to me and then I don't do anything else to you and then you still go off at me, like and stab me in the back, I don't trust necessarily that you'll be honest in politics. I expect people to be consistent, but we'll see. Okay, next one. Kevin Luang or Christy Williams. He said Christy Williams. He's done a lot of research on these, so that's who I'm doing. And then Krista Holtzman or Kaylee Winiger. I've seen a lot of Kaylee signs, but because I kept going, Winiger, is that like vinegar? But Wayne said Kaylee. So those, I went with Wayne's recommendations here. I do not know their partisan registrations, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I'm assuming they're Republicans. I don't know. The only one I knew was Justin because he was a friend, and I know he's Democrat, and this is a nonpartisan race. Okay. Next here. Before we do the state of Colorado statewide ones, we're going to go to the Castle Rock ones. These are all the ones you guys have seen me fighting with Wayne. So it's Ballot Issue 2, which is ABCD, which is for all the funding. So Ballot Issue 2, hey, new housing construction tax for police and fire. The people who are moving in, okay, this is like the worst of taxation without representation because it's only the people who already live here are voting to impose a tax on people who move here. It's so freaking gross. It is making new home construction out of range of first-time home buyers. People like the lady on, I think it was LaFleur on the Castle Rock Town Council said, well, they could just buy existing constructions. But in today's market, that's not possible because investors are buying them over market value, over appraised value, and these first-time home buyers can't do that. So they're the only options they have are these new homes. And when you add $15,000 to the price of the new home, it puts it out of reach for them. Plus, these new home constructions, the new people moving in, the taxes they're paying just by living here should be paying for the additional cost on the infrastructure that they will cause. This is just so frickin' gross. So I'm voting no on all of them. I'm voting fuck no on all of them. Fuck no is not an option, though. This video. Okay, let me grift a little bit. Because of all the cursing I've done on this video, this will definitely not be monetized. Though, to be honest with you, YouTube ads really... Actually, I'm getting a pretty decent return on YouTube ads. Like, for the small channel I get like $30 a month in YouTube ads, which is a lot for my teeny tiny channel. But let me grift. Super chats are always welcome, and down in the low bar are other ways like crypto and all that sort of thing. But I super appreciate super chats. But let's continue. And I'll just cuss away. So we're even, fuck no's not an option, but no against is. And probably if I wrote fuck no next to it, I probably would ruin my ballot, and I don't want to risk that, though I think these are all going to pass because Castle Rock is very affluent and they don't mind punishing all the poor people. All right, here's the one. Parks and Recreation sales tax on lodging, which includes Airbnb. So if you don't want to pay it, but you continue to do this, it all gets enforced by the point of a gun anyway. And it's just so easy to steal from other people, isn't it? Here I am. Ooh, I get to vote. Ooh, do I want to impose a tax on lodging? I don't own a hotel. I don't do an Airbnb. Ooh, I'll just vote yes to aggress against other people. The nerve. No. I don't even see, the nerve. Anyone who's voting yes on this that's watching this out in Castle Rock, unless you have the balls to go collect that money forcibly yourself, don't be a fucking coward and vote for somebody else to do it for you. Open space sales tax and use tax. And the way this is worded, it's so freaking complicated, but again, it's to buy more parks. No. Okay? No. And then the last one is to retain Tabor. And what is so dishonest about this. Oh, and thank you, Dave Davis, for the super chat. I decided to kick you some cash. Thank you. I super appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. So this last one, Tabor. Here's what is so dishonest. They always do it this way, without creating new taxes. Liar, pants on fire. If you're owed a refund from taxes people have already stolen from you, and they decide to keep that money, that is a new tax. Don't lie. Yeah, we have Dave, we have a lot of open space here, and they're wanting, I know that's not a term I ever heard in, when I lived in Florida, but it's basically like these nature preserves type things. It's a park, but it's more like a hiking park. It's a non-developed park, I guess is what you would call open space. So they don't put, a playground or anything there, but you can go and mountain bike or do whatever. And a lot of the open space we have here in Castle Rock was donated from families that owned a lot of land, and then they donated it to the city. And that is perfectly legitimate. But they want more. We've got more freaking open space here in Castle Rock than I've ever seen. And they want to get more. They want to buy more to make it, I guess, even. So you have to be really rich to live in Castle Rock because, there's not going to be that much space for development. We have a lot of open space here. But, yeah. And again, you want to, what I suggested to the Castle Rock Town Council, if everyone here is so in love with more open space, make it voluntary. Yes, I would like you to take extra money from me to pay for open space. But don't be forcing everyone to do it. And the funny thing is, so you make more open space, you make it more difficult to live here. The people who choose to live here have to work more hours or get another job just to be able to afford to live here with all these freaking taxes. Then they can't even use the open space because they have no free time. All right, but the last one is the one that's so offensive. We have a Taxpayer Bill of Rights in Colorado, which means that excess revenues collected get refunded back to the taxpayers. But they, you can put on the ballot for the government to retain these. And of course, they always say it's for the children, or it's for the police, or if you live in Castle Rock, it's for the parks. It's not for the parks here, but use of all excess revenues for police, fire, and roads. Okay? They want to retain Tabor for 10 years. This is a 10-year. You're voting to keep the money from people who haven't even moved here yet or haven't even entered into their minds that they may be moving here. It is just ridiculous. And all the excuses they made for it, like this Crystal Valley overpass and all that stuff, Douglas County already assured them that the monies were going to be there. Ridiculous. No. And I actually think it's unconstitutional to do it for 10 years. I know a couple courts have ruled against it because, you know, judges paid by the state, the conflict of interest in our justice system, it's just like so crazy because the courts are paid for by the state. Anyway, no. And I just saw one of those, you know, heartstring pleas. I should have screenshotted it on Facebook. You know, it had the two little drawings of the firemen's helmets. Please vote yes on whatever because we work so hard for you and all this crap. And everyone was just like, you know, kissing their ass. And I posted on there, no and no. No. We're taxed enough here. Oh, speaking of that, shit, there was something I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can transfer it from my phone. Wayne did start a committee here to oppose these four. And he put up signs all over town asking people to vote no. And I asked him to take a video of it. Let me see if I can transfer it to this computer. Ooh, it looks like it is transferring. Just short little video. Let me see. I want to show you these signs that the committee he was working on. It wasn't just his committee did. But this is the sort. I do these sorts of things to show you what you can be doing in your own communities. What was this file called? I have a file here called "The Government Totally Sucks." I think that's a video somebody sent me off of Facebook. Off of YouTube. I think that's funny, though, that I have a file here called "The Government Totally Sucks." Where is this file I just transferred? Did it go to my... Let me look on Recents. Where'd it go? Recents? No. It should go to download, shouldn't it? That's what I would think. Here I am asking you guys about my computer. You want to know what? I'm going to send it again and pay better attention to where it goes. Okay, you heard that little beep? There it is. Okay, I found it now. So, we're going to play this. It's really short. But I think it's so funny how I'm telling you, we're asking you guys where something is on my own computer. All right, so here, choose file. Right here. Okay, let's play this. This is going around our town.
Putting out signs today. There are 4 different tax proposals that are going to be on the ballot in Castle Rock. 4. And there are significant tax increases to the citizens of Castle Rock, so I'm spending my day out here today basically putting up signs and trying to get the word out.
All right. So it's just a quick little video Wayne did for me. How do I fix this? There we go. So yeah, we do more than just bullshit on Facebook. We actually do some community activism. So that is the 4 measures for Castle Rock. So now let's, though, do the Colorado specific ones. We have Constitutional Amendment 78, and there is a lot of, I believe that's the one, this is the custodial funds one, very controversial. Proposition 119, statutory, not controversial. That one's an easy no. Excuse me. And Proposition 120, which is a little controversial. So I just need to pull up my notes on this here, just because we did some endorsements. At least we did not endorsements. We did some ballot recommendations with the Libertarian Party of Colorado. So the first one we're going to talk about is Proposition 120. Let's read this bullshit language. Shall there be a change to the Colorado revised statute concerning property tax reductions? Okay, reductions, I like that. In connection therewith, reducing property tax revenue by an estimated $1.03 billion in 2023, and by comparable amounts thereafter by reducing the residential property tax assessment rate from 7.15% to 6.5%, and reducing the property tax assessment rate for all other property, excluding producing oh God, this is just going too far. Okay, you get it. They want to talk about, I had enough reading that already, about reducing taxes. Anytime I see reducing taxes, my instinct's to vote yes, and of course I will be voting yes. But I wanted to read what Colorado's recommendations were, and these were actually written by Mike Seebeck. So it says, Proposition 120. What it does, according to the Blue Book, lowers the property tax assessment rates for multifamily housing and lodging properties only, not residential properties. For multifamily properties, basically rentals, it would be reduced, but it was already slated to be reduced. So it was going to reduce it from 7.15% for 2021 and reduce it to 6.5% for 2022 through 2023, but it was already slated to drop to 6.8%. So it's not really dropping it by as much as it says, but it's still dropping it by 0.3%. For lodging properties, the rate of 29% drops to 26.4%, and there was no change already slated. Allows for a Tabor exemption if the funds up to $25 million are used to fund existing property tax exemptions. Lodging properties do not include Airbnb arrangements. Okay. And it says, okay, that's what the Blue Book says. But Mike says, however, what the actual text of the measure says is different and simpler. There's why there's confusing. The text of the measure here says that the tax rate for lodging properties is lowered permanently from 29% to 26.4%, and residential property tax rates are lowered permanently from 7.15 to 6.5. When in doubt, text of the measure, actual proposed law trumps the Blue Book interpretation. All right, so there is confusion between what the Blue Book says. And he says, the recommendation is yes, but there needs to be an explanation. The original proposition was going to lower the property tax assessment for more properties. This kind of narrowed it, okay? But it does lower property taxes on both residential properties and most commercial properties. So regardless of any confusion, and even if it didn't do as many properties as people hoped that it would do, it's still a tax reduction. So I always vote yes on tax reduction. So that definitely will be a yes, and hopefully that passes. Now, Proposition 119. This is one of the ones that just really pisses me off. We're not going to read the whole thing because it's pretty freaking long. We're going to just do a little summary. But basically, shall state taxes be increased? The minute I see that, I already know I'm going to vote no. But let's see what it is. It's on retail marijuana sales. They keep increasing the taxes, which all it's going to do is bring back even stronger the black market, because they just keep increasing taxes on the marijuana sales. And of course, it's for schools, it's for tutoring, it's for the children. So let's see. Of course, the recommendation is no from the LPCO, and here's the reason. Increasing sales taxes is never a good idea in the first place, especially on vices, or quote-unquote alleged vices, because I don't believe it's a vice, like cannabis, as they never produce the projected revenues as people cut back due to increased expenses. But this proposition is a hot mess, creating more government and shifting funds away from the current public school funding scheme and into these tutoring and enrichment programs. Frankly, if there's a need for tutoring, why not address that in the schools by addressing why these kids need tutors in the first place? The whole thing is it's going to increase the black market as well. But anytime I see a tax increase, no. God, it makes me mad that fuck no is not an option. Now, the confusing one. Amendment 78. So let's go to that. A lot of very liberty-leaning organizations, even ones we would call libertarian here in Colorado, had been voting yes on this. And there was a lot of, I think we ended up in Colorado, as far as the LPCO, not making any recommendation at all because there was so much split and confusion on this. But I am going with Mike's. Did that pass? No. So it looks like our vote, I don't know if I ever announced the official votes on these. But anyway, I'm going to have to go check that. I might have slacked off. But basically, Amendment 78, what it does, amends the state constitution to require that custodial monies that get awarded to the state from government, things like from the CARES Act, transportation funding, grants, gifts, state government lawsuits, etc., are subject to the same appropriations and legislations as all state revenues. Now, it sounds good. Creates a custodial fund parallel to the general fund to hold these funds, with earnings on those funds going into the general fund. The problem is it exempts the custodial funds from Tabor limits. We never want to exempt anything from Tabor limits. Okay, so that's why, I am going with the no. Even there are some people, again, who disagree that it is exempt from Tabor. But I want to, for those who disagree, I want to show you some research that Mike had sent us. And in 15 minutes, I got to go to a convention committee meeting, so this will be done relatively soon. I want to show you something. I'm going to pull up my screen here on an email. So if you see here, it talks about what sources of revenue are subject to the limit, meaning the Tabor limit. It says all district revenue is subject to the limit unless it meets one of the 11 exceptions. And you see here, federal funds and damage awards. What is going into this custodial fund is federal funds and also things, whoops, you're looking at my restream now. 1 second. I don't know how I did that. Let me put me back up here. Is federal funds and damage lawsuits. So it's exempt from Tabor. Might be a good idea to put it into, I can see the arguments in the custodial fund, blah, 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 having it subject to the same appropriations method. I get it, but they're always gutting Tabor, and I will always vote. And thank you, David. Thank you, Dave, for coming by. Is this the same? Do we have a David Davis and a Dave Davis? Interesting. So this is Dave Davis. Thank you for coming by. So I am voting no on Amendment 78. And I know there are a lot of libertarians, good libertarians, who disagree. So that is it for the ballot measures. I will always film me doing the ballots because I fought for the right to do that, just like I fought for the right to party. So I will finish sticking it in the envelope and getting it out. I just want to see if there's anything else here in chat. And again, I thank you so much for the super chat earlier. I like what Tyler said here. Counties should tell landowners if they donate land to the county for recreation use, they don't have to pay property tax for life. I agree with that because I agree with exempting from property tax. So why not? That's a good idea. That is something else I could suggest next time they're trying to pull this kind of crap. And David Davis had a reminder, if you are from Iowa, Rick Stewart and I are running for office. We need help. We need signatures. And he gives his email address. So you could check that out in the live chat if you are in Iowa and you can assist. I encourage everyone, please get involved in community activism and not just keyboard warriorism. And I'm not saying anyone does that. I think that's actually quite a myth. Most of the really hardcore sincere libertarians are doing much more than arguing on Facebook. get accused of that a lot, but in any way. Same thing here. Michael talked about how they have a nice private park in their town, and there's so many other ways to raise money for parks. People do like parks. That's one of the things that I think is the most easiest to raise things in a coercion-free manner. Yeah, Dave Davis says you have to be rich to live in Colorado, period. Tell me about it. If Wayne didn't have such an established real estate clientele here in Colorado, we probably would move to Wyoming. I hate for one thing, I moved from Florida and we didn't have a state income tax. It just galls me to pay a state income tax. Okay, I think this is it. I'm just giving a few more minutes to make sure that there's no other comments, because I do like to address them. Tomorrow, what will I be doing tomorrow? What will I be doing? Where's all my crap? I think tomorrow, you know what I might do? Tomorrow, I might go over the compromise motion. I keep talking about the compromise motion, and right now I'm really trying to avoid talking about the LNC stuff just because it's so stressful. But I've noticed that I've been talking about this is crooked. It's bothering me. The compromise motion a lot. And I know a lot of people have seen it on the LNC list, but I don't think that many people, I don't think everyone, let's put it, has gone through it. And I would like to, I don't think I've went over this already. Did I? Tell me if I'm going crazy and I went over this already. But if I didn't, did I? Oh my crap. I better go look. If I haven't, I think I'll pull up the text of the motion and go over it and explain why I agreed to certain things for the sake of the party. And we might also, so I might do two things tomorrow, and I might actually do a Liberty Boudoir. There's some like Dave Smith things that I'd like to go over and have a little bit of a respectful disagreement. But also, we still need to do the right to ignore the state. I have so much history stuff that I could do history stuff every day. All right, everyone, I need to go get ready for a convention committee meeting. So I bid you all adieu. Oh, and Tyler asks, is there a sunset for the tax? Of course not. Of course there isn't a sunset for the tax. Dave Smith, what Dave Smith Lions of Liberty episode, Tyler? Because I think I might have watched that one and there wasn't anything I really felt compelled to. What I wanted to talk about is I disagreed with Dave Smith's assessment of Governor Abbott's banning of vaccine mandates by private businesses. I didn't disagree entirely, but I disagreed. He and I often disagree on this, on kind of no particular orderism type things. I don't think just because it's banning something that you don't like that it's okay to ban things from private businesses. I understand this is kind of dirty. The government, there's government compulsion and all that in here. But I think we got to be really, really careful about that. Banning things you don't like, that's the way conservatives have gotten away with all these bans for years. And I'm not, when I say that, I realize it came out weird. I'm not calling anyone in this discussion a conservative. I'm saying as libertarians, we need to be careful to not fall into that trap, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.